Hello again, everyone. I'm here to introduce a very special person today. So this year, we are honored to welcome back Dr. Shannon Doak as one of our closing keynote speakers at AISG. Currently, Dr. Doak serves as the Director of Technology at Nanjing International School and was a founding member of the inaugural EdTechGZ Organizing Committee in 2013. Having recently presented at ISTE Live 24 and EdTech Asia 24, he's a prominent leader in educational technology and a passionate advocate for practical application of AI in education. Oh, did I forget to mention that he is a coffee addict and a home barista? So, everyone, please join us in welcoming Dr. Shannon Doak.
Good afternoon. I always have to say that my middle school picture, I was kind of a looker too, huh? better than now, but hey. So I want to start today's talk. First of all, I want to thank Tim and the crew at AISGZ for putting together a fantastic day. Let's give them a round of applause. And I have to say, I'm impressed. The first one, back in 2013, we had 40 people, half a day. And now look at this. This is amazing. So I wanted to start a little bit about our responsibility in guiding the next generation in the AI-driven future. And so the first thing I want to know is, if it works, there we go, is AI really the future? That's a good question. And of course, there's skeptics. I asked ChatGPT, what are some skeptical things about this that people would say? Well, here's what one of the imaginary skeptics said. There's no reason for any individual to rely on generative AI for creativity. It will never match the human's mind's depth. And then another one said, AI writing tools. At best, they're clunky distractions that churn out generic content, devoid of human soul. You can't trust a machine to craft poetry and prose that resonates. Well, I have a question. When computers first came out, were they the future? Think about what some people have said about that. Look at Ken Olsen back in 1977. There's no reason for any individual to have a computer in home. How many computers do you have at home? How many people have a computer in their pocket right now? What about the internet? When the internet came out, what did they say about that? Same thing. Clifford Stoll said, how about electronic publishing? Try reading a book on a disk. At best, it's an unpleasant chore. The myopic glow of a clunky computer replaces the friendly pages of a book. And you can't tote that laptop to the beach. Well, I don't know about you, but how many books do you have in your pocket right now? A lot, right? How about this? The internet may be a passing fad. Millions give up on it. Right. So I want you guys to keep that in mind as we continue the talk today. That when something comes out, there's a lot of skeptics. But I want you to keep an open mind. Because I believe AI is the next internet. In fact, I think it's going to be more influential than the internet was. And you might think, God, that guy, he is crazy. He's had too much coffee in him. But I'm going to tell you that it's not about me. I'm not telling you things from me. I'm talking from experts, okay? This is important because when Tim asked me to do this, I was like, okay, cool. I know what I'm going to talk about, but it can't come from me. It has to come from people who know more about it than I do. So let's take a look at an expert here. You guys recognize this guy? CEO of Alphabet, parent company of Google. AI is one of the most profound things that we are working on as humanity. And he says it's even better than the internet. It's more profound than fire or electricity. That's huge. And we're going to talk a little bit more about why that's huge in a little bit. So today's talk is going to talk a little bit about proliferation. Then we're going to go to speed of change, what the near future is going to look like, and the O moment, and then our responsibility, and then a call to action. And that'll end it up. So, first thing, proliferation. I think this is an important quote that everyone should understand, that basically every foundational technology, no matter what it is, will end up becoming easier to use, cheaper, and will ultimately proliferate far and wide. And AI will do that as well. So how have robots exploded into our world? Let's find out. These are a few robots that I have experienced personally in my life. Got self-driving cars. There's a guide there. There's a robot giving me some water, or I guess it was soda. I don't even remember. But we've got robots that vacuum. We've got robot cashiers. We've got robot guides. We've got robot cleaners. We've got baristas. We've got self-driving cars. Anybody riding a self-driving car? I got to do it in San Francisco. It's a fantastic experience. Meituan is now, that yellow one up in there, is now testing autonomous delivery with trucks and drones. And we've got this cool robot up in there. It's Samsung's robot. Pretty cool. But they're everywhere, and we even have humanoid robots. Take a look at this company from Shenzhen. Engine AI did not exist 9 months ago. What do we have? We now have the SE01, which walks like a human being. Most robots, you know, they do this thing, right? With their knees bent. It's pretty funny. This one walks like human gait, and it was trained virtually in a virtual environment that was created by NVIDIA. And then it was loaded into the actual robot, and the robot took off. Last week, this same company released the PM01 model. It's now on sale for business people and education. I don't really know what that means, but you can get it for the low, low price of 88,000 RMB, $12,000. You can have that robot that you can use. I don't know how you would use it, but you could use it. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. Now, of course, being the coffee freak that I am, I had to throw in this robot. Look at that. You can choose your own latte art. Wow, and it makes it for you. That's amazing. That's pretty impressive, I think. I know how hard it is to make latte art. Now, how has artificial intelligence exploded into our world? Well, let's take a look. We have smartphones. Put your hand up if you have a smartphone. Of course, everybody, right? See if you have two. Some people have two. Smart watches. Right? I got a smartwatch. Actually, I won it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Smart home speakers. You know, Siri, Google Assistant, whatever. We have chatbots that have gone from text to multimodal. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. We have image generation, music generation, video generation. And as you can see with what Apple just said, it's integrated in everything now. I just started paying for Gemini, and it's now integrated into all of my Google Workspace. I can use it. It's fantastic. Now, take a look at this.
Ich bin Dr. Shannon Doak und freue mich, heute hier über KI zu sprechen. Bei NIS, die Geschwindigkeit, mit der KI sich entwickelt.
I don't speak German. Back in 2023, we put together a video for our parents and our board, and we wanted to show them what was possible with AI. Well, HeyGen made it possible. You could do this. Easy. Upload your video. A couple minutes later, you've got your video dubbed in another language. Guess what? Right now, every creator on YouTube, when they load up a video, automatically being dubbed in 8 languages. More coming. So this is coming, and it's just going to be happening more and more. Pretty soon we won't be able to need to learn a language because we'll have tech to help us. Take a look at this.
Hey, I'm at gate 6 wearing a gray shirt.
ฉันอยู่ที่ประตู6สวมเสื้อสีเทา
ได้ครับ เดี๋ยวผมไปรับอีก2 นาที
I'll pick you up in 2 minutes.
And that's available today. Pretty impressive. Okay? And this is not just reading. This was actually speaking, dubbing. Amazing. Now, Heijin has also decided, why should people have to attend Zoom meetings? Why don't we just let them create a digital twin? They can attend thousands of meetings all at once. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm not sure. Right. So I'm not sure about that. But the whole thing is that it's speed, right? We've gone very far quickly. Okay? So if you haven't read this book, Coming Wave, I suggest it highly. AI really isn't emerging anymore. It's in products, services, devices that we use every day. It's across all areas of life. It's everywhere. And we've gotten there pretty quick. I want to talk a little bit about this wonderful guy called Steve Jobs. He was doing an interview, and he was talking about a scientific study where they looked at animals and how efficiently people traveled. Or not people, but animals. And they found out that humans were pretty bad. We sucked. The condor was way better than we were. One of the researchers said, but I wonder what happens if we give a bike to the human. And guess what? With the bike, the human got to the top. So what does Steve Jobs like to say? He says, we humans are tool builders. We can fashion tools that amplify these inherent abilities that we have to spectacular magnitudes. And so, for me, the computer has always been a bicycle of the mind. I'm going to say that AI is not a bicycle. It's a rocket of the mind. Because it'll allow us to do things we could never do before. And it's because of transformers. But not that kind. I know some of you have the song in your head, right? Transformers, right? Yeah, all right, more than me. That we're talking about Google's landmark research back in 2017, where they introduced the deep learning architecture known as transformers. And it is this architecture which enables all of AI to do what it does. And what's really cool about this architecture, about transformers, is that what they've proven already is that they have mathematically proven that transformers can solve any problem. As long as what? As long as they can reason, go back over and over and over again. That's the important part. So what, we're running out of data to train our models on. Doesn't matter. If we can think and think and think and think, and it can think a lot faster than us, it can solve any problem. So how fast have we actually gotten to where we are now? You guys know that in November of 2022, ChatGPT was released to the world. And I like to liken ChatGPT as the Netscape of AI. I don't know if you guys know what Netscape is. It's the first browser, okay? The internet was always there. We just didn't have access to it. Well, not always there, but it was there longer than we have had access. And we've had lots of AI. It's been around a long time. In fact, 1970s when they started doing all of this. But ChatGPT was released in 2022. And recently, OpenAI gave O1. And so from 2022, we had a model that was just text, couldn't do IB exams that well, did AP stuff okay. And now we've got the O1 model which is outperforming human PhD level experts in science and math questions. That's important. It's been 2 years. Avital, sorry. She says, they grasp, these are for people who are skeptics. That's the they. They grasp at the ever-diminishing number of places where such models still struggle, rather than noticing the ever-growing range of tasks where they have reached or passed human level. It will eventually surpass us. It will. AI has been climbing the ladder of cognitive abilities for decades, and now looks set to reach human-level performance across a very wide range of tasks within the next 3 years. They asked 356 AI experts back in 2022, so well before ChatGPT, when will we get AI that's better than humans and cheaper, unaided? And all of them said within the next 100 years. Half of them said before 2061. That's important. So, as you can see, progress is caffeinated, highly caffeinated. So what does the near future look like? What's coming? Well, AI is going to become ubiquitous like the internet, and it's going to be more consequential. Let's look at the 7 stages of AI so we have a little bit of background information about what this means. So we have rule-based AI. This has been around for quite some time. It's like programming things like traffic lights, things like that. Okay? Easy. We have context-based AI. That's like Siri, Google Assistant, so forth. It understands you and understands the context. We have domain-specific AI. This is more specialized, used in medical areas, self-driving cars, things like that. And then we have thinking and reasoning AI. That's ChatGPT, AlphaGo. AlphaGo is the AI that beat the Go champion. And we have artificial general intelligence. That's the next stage. And that's basically AI that outperforms humans in most tasks. Some people have said that OpenAI 03 model, pretty close to that. So we're pretty close. And then after that, we have something called artificial superintelligence. And that's intelligence that's going to surpass human intelligence in all of our domains. So, what are some current predictions for AGI? Well, Sam Altman says 2025. Elon Musk, 2026. Dario Amodei, 2026. 2029, 2029, 2030. So all within the next 5 years. That means we're going to have AI that surpasses most humans in a large area of things in the next 5 years. We are also going to have agents. Not Agent Smith. We're not talking about Matrix stuff yet. But these are agents that are able to do things on their own. They're able to follow instructions and then make decisions to do other things. Create an AI to do that. Do this, to do that. You won't have to tell you. You don't have to have anything involved in it. It's going to do it for you. In fact, it's quite impressive. Let's listen to this guy. He knows more about it.
We're at a stage now, we're in an era now where we're moving way faster than Moore's Law. Arguably, easily Moore's Law squared. And the reason for that, of course, is at every single layer, computers went from CPUs to GPUs, from human-engineered software to machine learning software. And now this feedback loop that allows us to create new AIs. And these new AIs are helping us create new computer systems. And these new computer systems are advancing at such incredible rates, which allows us to create even better AI. That feedback, that flywheel is really flying now. And so I think the progress that you're going to have with agents over the next year or two is going to be spectacular and surprising.
So agents have already starting to be released, and this is the next thing. In 2025, agents are going to be huge, and they're going to start taking over the internet. In fact, one guy said that pretty soon we're going to have more people interacting with agents interacting with agents on the web than humans interacting with other people. So that's coming. So again, progress is not slowing. It's actually speeding up. In fact, Aragon, he said that we're probably going to have the exact same amount of changes in the next 4 years that we experienced in the last 100. That's kind of scary. That brings us to the oh moment. Because if we have that amount of change that quickly, that's scary. It can be. According to Sam Altman, he has predicted superintelligence in a few thousand days. And he said this back in September of 2023. So I did some math. It's about 5 years. He also said in 10 to 20 years, we're going to be able to do stuff that our grandparents will think is magic. That's kind of scary. AI is already starting to impact jobs. In fact, by 2027, they're saying 7.5 million data entry jobs will be lost. TikTok has already done it. They already got rid of a bunch of people, replaced them with AI. Up to 800 million jobs displaced by automation by 2030. So what does this mean for a fifth grader who's going to graduate in 2032? What does it mean when they get out of college in 11 years in 2036? I'm going to say that the world that they enter is going to be extremely different than the one we're sitting in right now. It's going to look very different. In fact, the U.S. Career Institute put out this great infographic. You can get a copy of it there. Of the 65 jobs with the lowest risk of automation. Okay? This is jobs that are safe. Safe. These jobs are safe. I can do this. I know I'm going to still have a job. AI's not taking over me. So I wondered, what kind of skills do these jobs need? So I loaded this infographic into ChatGPT and I asked. And it said this. Take a look at these. Interpersonal skills. High emotional intelligence. Social emotional learning and being a good human being. These are all the skills that we don't have time to teach. We spend so much time teaching content that we add these things as extras. We try to integrate them into our lessons, but they're not like the focus. But think, by 2030, these are the things that are going to be needed. So what about teachers? Well, guess what? In that 65 jobs, teaching was mentioned 6 times. We are good. AI is not taking over. Yes, but someone who uses AI might. So if you're not using AI right now, well, you better get on it. It's important. In fact, our jobs might change. Take a listen about what's coming in August of 2025.
Getting twice the amount of learning done in half the time. That's what Unbound Academy touts in their new artificial intelligence learning model.
The reason we picked Arizona is because it is very, very pro
pro school choice, pro online.
Monday, the Arizona State Board for Charter Schools approved the application for Unbound Academy. It's an AI-based online school. Unbound and their learning model says they've seen success at their 8 private brick and mortar schools across the country, including Austin, Texas, and Miami, Florida.
That's the beauty of what AI technology and adaptive app learning enables, is really providing that personalized learning experience for students.
Mackenzie Price, one of the founders, says the personalized learning model is geared towards life skill development, serving roughly 200 4th through 8th graders. She says they're able to learn more in half the time.
Means that I learn twice as much. I'm in 3rd grade, but in language I'm working on 6th.
If a student, on the other hand, is really advanced and can fly through things at a faster pace, that student won't be bored.
Here's how it works. In a student's day, there's a 2-hour AI learning period, then life skills workshops.
Things like financial literacy and storytelling and public speaking and communication and socialization.
She says AI is enhancing teacher-student interactions and focused on each student's needs.
What would you say to educators who, are maybe fearful of losing the job or losing, their experiences to robotics?
It is also transforming the role of the teacher in the classroom. Instead of having to spend time doing lesson planning and grading homework and lecturing, what our adults in the classroom are able to do is focus on making a positive impact on students by concentrating on motivational and emotional support.
If you're interested, enrollment begins in January. It's set to open August 2025. In Phoenix, Christine Stanwood, ABC 15, Arizona.
Interesting, yeah? So this brings us to our responsibility. This quote is from Scary Smart, great book if you haven't read it. And he talks about some of the bad things that could happen because of AI. But he says it's not up to any experts. It's up to us. We're everyday, regular people to prevent any issues. And the reason I put that here was because it's the same thing. We want education to move forward. It's our responsibility. So, I'm sure you guys have heard of John Hattie and his effect sizes. And over the last 25 years, technology has had 0 to 0.2 effect size. I'm going to say this, and it hurts me to say this. Teaching test-taking skills have a better effect size than technology. That's terrible. I'm an educational technologist. What are you telling me? That's not true. Well, and the problem is not the technology. The problem is what we've been doing. We have not moved beyond substitution and augmentation. We haven't moved to modification or redefinition. If we don't change how we use technology, guess what? AI is going to have the same impact as all the stuff in the before. Almost nothing. I'm hoping that we understand this and we make changes, because I don't know about you, but I think the students are kind of worth it. We cannot confine our children to our own learning, because they were born in a different age, different time. We need to change. We have to approach education differently. Must. Everybody wants change, but nobody really wants to change. My son's graduating this year. He's going through IB and talking about college and all this, and he was like kind of confused about what he wants to do with his life. I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. We're just talking about stuff, and he goes, Dad, I don't like change. And I went, I actually laughed. I said, dude, guess what? The only thing we can guarantee in life is change. Especially now. I said, Gone are the days of getting a job and working there until you retire. Like, come on. You just got to get used to it, man. Sorry. So I'm actually really happy to be here today with all of you, because you guys are perfect, the perfect people to hear this message. And the reason I say this is because you guys have given up your personal Saturday to come here and learn about technology and how it can impact learning. Which means I'm going to assume that you're either innovators or early adopters, which is awesome. And the reason I say this is because we got to bring in that early majority, the late majority, and the laggards. And who better to do that than us? You're perfect. So thank you for being here, because it's important that we do something. And that brings us to our call to action to end today. Remember, we are no longer in sci-fi. We're living in the age of sci-fact. A lot of things that we saw Apple Intelligence do, a lot of things that we have in our pockets, were all stuff we grew up watching on TV in sci-fi. That phone that could automatically translate what the guy was saying. That's a universal communicator. The beginning of one. That's pretty amazing. So what I like to say is that we're at the next Netflix moment. Now, I'm not 100% sure if you guys know, but when Netflix first started, it was a website. You would go and you would like browse, and you'd go, oh, I want to rent that movie. And you'd pay for it, and they would mail you a DVD with the return mailer. And you'd watch that DVD, and you're like, yeah, that was great. And put it back in the mailer and send it back. Well, they had this great idea. And they were like, wow, we're just this, tiny startup. We don't really have a lot of money. We're going to approach Blockbuster, because Blockbuster was huge. They were everywhere. And they said, hey, Blockbuster, we got this great idea. And they explained it to them. And Blockbuster laughed in their face. Big mistake. Blockbuster's no longer, but Netflix is still around. I'm going to say that we are Blockbuster. AI is Netflix. AI is knocking on our door. If we don't do something, schools who don't embrace it will end up imploding, becoming irrelevant. We must do something. So I'm going to share with you some practical steps that you can take. And I ask you all to do these steps. They're not hard. First, learn and use AI. Raise your hand if you're already using AI. Fantastic. See, this is why I say you guys are perfect people for this. This is amazing. So explore AI tools and use them in your personal life. I can tell you, man, we did college tours in the summer. And man, AI was fantastic at like planning. Like, I want to drive this far from here to here, and I don't want to drive more than 6 hours. And can you give me some suggestions on places to stay and where to stop? And boom, done. Seconds. Awesome. And it worked out perfect. So use it in your personal life. Get some recipes, whatever. Use it in school to save time. Enhance your lessons. Streamline your tasks, grading or planning. If you're already doing this, great. Figure out how you can use it with your students. If you're already doing that, excellent. Bring your neighbor along. Second, stay curious. Keep up with the developments of AI. What does this look like? When you go for a walk, listen to a podcast. When you're washing dishes, watch a YouTube video. Read a blog post. Do something. Spend 5 to 10 minutes out of your day learning about what's coming. You cannot ignore it, because if you do, like I said, it's coming. It's going to impact what we do. It's going to impact our lives more than the internet. And if we don't do something, yeah, that's kind of scary. So stay curious. Stay up with it. And then go back to your schools and start conversations. Discuss with colleagues and your students how AI is shaping our world. What is coming? Encourage awareness and ethical use and thinking. Talk to your leadership. If they haven't done anything, ask them to. It's necessary. I invite you to join me walking towards the future. I invite you in adapting to our new reality. I ask you to join me in becoming an AI advocate, speaking up, being involved, pushing things forward. Because I don't know about you, but I'd rather teachers, the people who know students, who understand learning, who are experts, be the ones who are guiding AI usage in schools, rather than some large ed tech company or even some government agency that's giving us a top-down mandate. And I say this because our students are worth it. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah. Thank you. And it's time to give away stuff.